name is Matt Tranquil, and I am the President and CEO of the Chamber. On behalf of myself, our Board Chairman, Vincent Saylor, and the entire Board and staff of the Chamber, I'd like to thank our live audience and our Facebook viewers. Thank you, Councilman George Gill and Tiffiney Dimery for being here. A big thanks to KSWO TV for helping promote this event and having Tara available for us. Thanks to our locally owned newspaper, the Lawton Constitution, for supplying us this great venue at the Hilton Garden Inn and the refreshments for the live audience. With no more delay, let's hand this over to our moderators, Tara and JJ. Guys?
Yeah, I might need that. Good evening. Thank you, Matt, and our live audience and everyone on Facebook Live for joining us for the Lawton Fort Sill City Council Forum and Debate, sponsored by the Lawton Fort Sill Chamber of Commerce. My name is JJ Francais. I'm the executive editor of the Lawton Constitution, and it's an honor to help guide tonight's conversation. Now to my co-moderator,
Tara.
All right.
And well, thank you, JJ. Good evening, everyone. I am Tara Jones, 6 and 10 p.m. anchor executive producer with KSWO Channel 7. We are glad to welcome our candidates and our audience to this important community forum and debate.
Tonight's forum will focus on key issues that community members have expressed are important to them and the future of Lawton. Our goal is to give each candidate a fair chance to share their ideas and explain their vision for our community.
Now, we will follow the rules and timing that have been provided to both candidates. Please remember that the audience must remain respectful throughout the forum and debate with no cheering or verbal reactions. The only exception is the applause requested at the beginning.
Candidates, thank you for being here. Let's give them both a warm Lawton Fort Sill welcome. We'll begin with an open. We will begin with opening statements. The order was determined by a coin toss earlier.
All right then. So candidate number one, if you would please take 1 minute for your opening remark.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tiffany Dimery. I'm a proud United States Army veteran with 18 years of military service and 2 deployments. I enlisted as a private and retired as a major. I've been married for 28 years. We have 4 children, one of whom passed away 2 years ago from a fentanyl overdose, and 6 grandchildren. We moved to Lawton in 2014, and I've been serving my community ever since. I worked at the Farm Service Agency for a little bit, and for the past 10 years, I've been a real estate agent with Colwell Banker Salute, helping families find their home right here in Lawton and the surrounding areas. I've spent my entire life serving, in uniform, in business, and my community. And that's what I'm about, service to people. People tell me they want change, and I believe Lawton deserves fresh energy, real accountability, and leadership that represents everyone. Whether you're the clerk at Family Dollar or the owner of the bank, your voice matters, and I'm here to represent you. Not just those who can do me a favor, not just my neighbors, but everyone.
Thank you very much.
I serve.
Thank you.
Candidate 2, you have 1 minute for your opening statement.
Well, I'd like to welcome everyone, and Miss Dimery also. I know this wasn't set up for politicians tonight because we only have 1 minute, and that's pretty short for a politician, but I'm gonna stay within that realm. I am George Gill. I am the sitting councilman in Ward 4. I was born in Lawton many years ago. Went all through school here, grade school, junior high, high school. Then I attended OU, received a degree in military science, and further received a BS in math, engineering, and advanced studies. At that time, when I received my BS degree, I was commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant in the United States Army. And of course, I wound up a long, long ways from home, joined the Army and see the world, Fort Sill, in the artillery. That was my choice. I did a tour overseas, came back, guess where? Fort Sill. I was, last command there, I was a battery commander. I enjoyed that, got out and started a construction engineering and development company.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you.
Okay,
For each question, one candidate will have up to 3 minutes to answer. The other candidate will then have up to 3 minutes. The candidate who answered first will then have 1 minute for an update or response. The order will rotate with each new question.
For our first category is public safety. The question is, what is the most important step the city council should take to strengthen public safety in Lawton? And how would you work with police, fire, and community partners to make that happen?
Candidate 2, your answer please.
It's candidate one.
Say candidate 2.
Okay.
I'll be happy to do that. Public safety. Well, it's a very important thing. Every city must have it. We have to have it to keep control of the city. We have to have it to protect our property in the city. We have a good fire department here. It's a well-organized and well-equipped fire department, lacking basically in nothing. The training that we have in Lawton is superior to any other training in the state of Oklahoma. In fact, we train firemen, and unfortunately, we lose a lot of them to other cities for their fire departments because we train them so good, they offer bonuses and off they go. So we recently took care of that and gave the fire department a 30% raise across the board, increased the equipment allowance, about $1 million worth of new radio. We just rolled in a brand new pump truck down at the fire station. And I want it noted that I have supported the fire department on all issues brought before the city council. I'd like to add that the fire marshal that we have, Chief Heath Want, has been a really, really great asset to the city. He's relatively new, and he has taken that department and made it what we call an ambassador of the True North statement. And by that I mean he works with the people and the citizens in Lawton and gets everything done. He makes it happen and doesn't use excuses why it can't be. I will comment a little bit further on the police department. The police chief under Chief Smith has done a good job. He's been here several years. We have a good police force. Their training is also at a high level. There's been several awards. Both our chief and our departments have won across the state of Oklahoma. They've done such a good job. I feel very safe with the fire department. I want it noted, I feel very safe with the police department. The question was asked the other day, would you go at town, around town, or how do you feel about that? I feel very safe. I would go around town any time of day, any day of the week. I feel that safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate one.
You know, for me, public safety isn't just about enforcement, it's about trust, partnerships, and communities working together. Policemen need to know who they're policing, and residents need to know who the police are. You know, when I was a kid, police used to ride in my neighborhood on their bicycles, and they used to come up in the yard and talk to us. And they knew who we were, and we knew them. And one president, with the stroke of a pen, changed that, and policing haven't been the same ever since. But, you know, the city reported that crimes were down 32%. Violent crimes were down 32% in the recent years, and that's positive. But we need to keep building on that, because when everybody feels heard and everybody feels safe, then they'll be more apt to help prevent crime and respond to the community and take pride in their community. Also, safer streets and stronger relationships is what it's about. People, the police protecting the people that they serve. And we're always gonna come back to community and the people. That's what we're doing here. It's about serving the people. And so we also want to make sure that we have that education. And again, community policing is what it's all about. And police don't need to know residents when they respond. They don't need to be meeting them for the first time in an emergency. Also, it would be good to make sure that when someone calls and there's someone's in a crisis, for instance, if they're having a mental illness crisis or if they're addicted to something, that police don't go, just with force. Everything isn't solved by handcuffs. So we need to make sure that the police have the services that they need. Maybe they can take a mental health advisor with them to diffuse the situation when they go on these calls. Also, the fire department. The fire department has fully endorsed me, and I really appreciate them, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they have the resources that they need. Also, fire prevention education. We need to make sure that people know about home safety, electrical especially. My husband and I are investors. The biggest thing that we run into is out of code electrical. And so with these abandoned homes, even with these older homes that people have been in for 20 and 30 years, they don't know that they need to update their electrical. So you could offer your expertise, as you work so closely with the fire department.
Thank you.
To maybe.
Thank you. You have 1 minute.
To rebuttal?
Respond. Yes.
No, I don't have anything to say.
Our next category is economic development and workforce. Question is, what specific actions should the city council take to support business growth and create more jobs in Lawton?
She should answer that.
It says,
George.
Be happy to answer that.
No, he had answered the first
Okay.
last time. Yes.
So what was the question again?
what specific actions should the city council take to support business growth and create more jobs in Lawton?
So we need to make sure that our small businesses are strong, because the small businesses are the backbone of our community. And also the companies that we're recruiting to come in, we need to make sure that they're aligned with the needs of the city. When small businesses thrive, then our economy thrives, because they employ a lot of our local people and they keep our economy strong. Also, we need to make sure that we're targeting specific industries like logistics and defense, technology, AI. 50 years ago, computers filled the room. Now we have access that fits in the palm of our hands, and we can access anything at our fingertips. AI is going to be the same thing. So we need to be encouraging our students to make sure that they're thinking about those AI careers. But our businesses, the only way they're going to thrive is to make sure that we keep them strong. Even though we're targeting big industry, we also need to make sure that we focus on small industry as well, because again, they are the backbone of our city.
Thank you. Okay, candidate Tim.
To have economic development is a must-have. It's the lifeblood of a city. Without it, a city will absolutely die and dissipate. So quickly, I want to bring some facts and figures to this particular subject. So your council and your mayor has formed 3 different authorities. We have the LEDA, which is Lawton Economic Development Authority, then we have Lawton Economic Development Corporation, and then we have Lawton Industrial Development. I am on the LEDA board, and I'm also on the LIDA board. So I'm very familiar with what's going on, so I don't want to put some of this out tonight, because I know information doesn't always get out to all the places I'd like to see it. That's one of the things we'll talk about possibly later, is having transparency. But we all work together. These 3 associations and corporations that I just talked about, authorities, all work together, and we have one full-time negotiator, which is separate from the city, that's out checking, looking, and bringing in industry. So let's look at some of the things that your city council and your mayor, along with these boards and citizens working on these boards, have done. In 2020, we brought in Republic Paper. $94 million in capital investment, 20 new jobs. In 2021, we brought in PepsiCo, $12 million new capital improvements, and also 20 new jobs in that also. In 2024, we brought Westwind to the table, negotiated with them a $9 million capital investment and brought in 20 new jobs at this time, but the complete results are not done there. We're still working with them on some other things. In 2024, Fisher 59, it's a distribution center. They spent $18 million capital investment and it created 36 new jobs. Now then, today in 2025, and I'm sure everyone's heard of Firehawk Aerospace, we're fixing to start a building for $22 million, $45 million capital investment, and 100 new jobs. The state of Oklahoma, through a grant program, will spend $22 million to build that facility, and we will have the land paid for in 7 years. And then citizens will have that complete aerospace industry as far as having them in the city, and it hasn't cost the City of Lawton anything. So these are projects you may or may not know about, and I'd go into more, but I only have a few minutes left. So let's talk about other things they're working on. They're working on 4 new projects right now, which we call a phase 3. And these are projects where companies are interested enough. We've made contact, they've come in, and they've done what we call a survey on the land. So when they get that interested, they're real possible. So these are all code names because they're not out to the public yet, but Project Endurance, 378 new jobs for a $33 million investment. Project Thesis, 355 new jobs. And Project
Thank you.
Diablo,
Thank you.
260, and a few more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Candidate 1, you have a minute to respond.
Those things are great. It's good to bring these industries in, but you know, we need to make sure that our students, especially at Cameron, that our high school students that want to stay here, that they're focused on those particular jobs that those industries provide. We want to make sure that they want to stay here and raise their families, not go away because there are no jobs that they qualify for. So we want to make sure that more people are able to qualify for these jobs that these companies are bringing in. Thank you.
Our next category is,
Tourism.
go ahead.
Our next category is tourism and regional positioning. Question: how should the City Council help attract more visitors to Lawton Fort Sill and support hotels, restaurant, and local attractions?
Candidate 2, 3 minutes, please.
Going back to me? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Well, tourism, of course, is one of those items that we work all the time through the boards that I just told you. We're always looking for tourism in Lawton, Oklahoma. We have a lot of things to offer here. We have the Wichita Mountains, a lot of history there. We have, of course, Fort Sill. They have a museum, a lot of history there. So we put this out by means of advertising. We have both advertising at the state level and the local level. We have a board in Oklahoma City called the Tourism Board. Some of you probably heard about that. And they put things out for the state itself all over. It's all the way to Florida because I saw some information listed down there the last time I visited the great state of Florida. So tourism is very important. It brings in a lot of money. We hope we're going to get a lot of tourism with this new sports facility that we'll talk about later. That should bring a lot of people into town, create a lot of dollars for the hotels and the motels and the restaurants. At the same time, we have graduation at Fort Sill, and that's pretty current. They have a class out there on a regular basis almost all year through the whole complete year. So we have a lot of families, a lot of people coming in and visiting because of the graduation classes from the Field Artillery School at Fort Sill. Also, these families that some of which I've talked to in the past find it really enlightening to take tours of our mountains. We have the bicycle ride through the mountains. There's 2 or 3 different clubs that put those on throughout the year. That brings people in from Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City, other parts of the state. So we have a lot of attention called to some of our natural beauty. You have to stop and think the Great Plains, the plains of Oklahoma, but here we have our Wichita Mountain Range, which offers hikers, climbers, all kinds of car runs, as I said, bicycle runs. So we have a lot to offer We may not get the word out like we should, but I think everyone's trying on that, and I see a lot of improvement just in the last 10 years, even in the last 3 years. But we do want those dollars, we do want tourism, we want it for the families, their loved ones that come here. We also have been working, and I'll bring some of those up later, on things like the museum. We're fixing to redo our museum and offer some really great exhibits in the museum. We have other attractions like the Aquatics Center that we just finished, a $23 million project, which has absolutely been a hit. It's been full from daylight till dark, or as long as they let them stay before it's time to go home. So we even kept it open a couple of weeks longer because it was such a success. So people come in from all over southwest Oklahoma to go to the Aquatics Center, and we're building more and more things like that. Speaking of tourism, we just finished our airport. Had a multi-million-dollar reconditioning of the airport, so it makes it easier for people to come in, get around. But not only that, private aircraft also. We have a lot of private aircraft. We have a lot of aircraft
Thank
coming
you.
in from large companies also.
Candidate
Thank
one.
you.
Yes, Lawton has some unique assets that most cities don't. We have the Wildlife Refuge, we have Medicine Park, we have Fort Sill, and we have Lake Latonka. But we need to make sure that when we're advertising those things, that we brand them as one. And so when people think about Lawton, they'll think, oh, Wildlife Refuge. Oh, Lawton, oh yeah, that's where they have the buffalo. Or they'll think about Medicine Park, you know, where they have all the shops and entertainment. And so we need to make sure that we identify those strengths in our town. And so, again, when people think about Lawton, Medicine Park and the Wildlife Refuge, they're not separate, they're all one. And we also need to make sure that we have good signage going out to those places, that they're attractive and that people can see the signs. I mean, even just people passing through the town. Who would think that we have a wildlife refuge here in this town when they're passing through? But if they see the sign, maybe they'll get curious and want to go and visit the wildlife refuge. Also, we need to make sure that our parks and public spaces are beautiful and that people, you know, want to see those things. Also, when people come here, they want to go to our restaurants, they want to shop, and they want to explore. So we want to make sure that we have the facilities and we have all the amenities here so that they don't have to go to Oklahoma City. They don't have to go to Wichita Falls. They can keep their tourism dollars here, and we can keep our tax dollars right here in the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Candidate 2, 1 minute.
I have no rebuttal.
Our next category is Fort Sill. Question is, what would you do as city council member to strengthen the relationship between the City of Lawton and Fort Sill and support military families in our community?
Candidate one.
You know, Fort Sill isn't just our neighbor, it's part of who we are. And we want to make sure that when military families come here, that they feel welcome. And we also want to encourage them to make Lawton their permanent home when their service ends. According to a 2018 survey, Fort Sill injected nearly $2 billion into our region. And that is very critical to our economy. Also, we need to make sure that the relationships and our partnerships that we have with Fort Sill are strong, that we're communicating, that we have the support for the military family members, and that we have strong transition programs to keep veterans and spouses in our workplace. Also, in investing in that connection, we want to make sure that we help families transition into civilian life. But we need to make sure that we have the jobs. We need to make sure that we have the facilities and the amenities for soldiers and their families to want to make Lawton home. A report from 2024 says that the city saw new business investments emerging around here at Fort Sill, which is a good sign, and we need to make sure that we capitalize on that. We want to make sure that when people think about Lawton, they don't just think of it as a military thing, as a military town. We want people to think of Lawton as a town that they can raise their families and build a future here. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate 2.
I feel we have a really strong, a very good relationship with Fort Sill. It hasn't necessarily always been that, but I've seen through the last 10 plus years a really effort for both Fort Sill and Lawton both to live together and get many good things accomplished, and we have. We've done many good works together, and I think that might be the key, putting things together. It's hard to keep a good relation, but it takes just hard work, and it can be done. We include Fort Sill in almost every city function that we do, and we let them take part in that with how they see fit that would best serve the community. For example, we even have an advisor that sits on our city council panel that's a chief officer from Fort Sill, and he gives a report on Fort Sill and becomes part of the discussion at times within the council itself as what Fort Sill is doing and what they may expect or may be what they want. So I think we've made great strides. I see a very good relationship between the two parties. We have a lot of retirees that retire from the military that live in Lawton. This is their home. We are their family. And so we need to remind them. I see the different businesses in Lawton reaching out hands to give military discounts, to take care of those veterans that might have handicaps in certain ways that they need to be helped with. And I see the different divisions of the City of Lawton, whether it's through finance, whether it's through Parks and Recreation, or any other division down there you might want to talk about, go out of their way to take and do things for Fort Sill. And I see Fort Sill reaching out with that same hand. I've been extremely impressed with Fort Sill the last 3 years that I've been on council. We had General Brooks here, which was my idea. He is the man. He was a commander. I have background in the military. Military's dear to my heart. And I loved General Brooks. We have a General Costello now who is doing a fine job. I met him the other night at the AUSA banquet. He had a lot of great ideas. We talked about those, and it fits right in with Lawton, and Lawton fits right in with those. And I think we will continue to have that kind of a relationship. And I'm very excited about it. I'm very happy about it. Like I said, Fort Sill and Lawton, as far as I'm concerned, are one.
Thank you. Candidate 1, you have 1 minute.
No vote.
Thank you. Our next category is long-term vision for Lawton. The question, what is your long-term vision for Lawton over the next 10 years? And what steps would you focus on first to move the city in that direction? Candidate 2.
Candidate 2. Candidate 2, you're absent? Yes.
Okay. I was running for council 3.5 years ago, and someone that was running at that time for city council made a comment. He said, I'm running and I have no agenda, I have no axe to grind. And I thought about that, and I didn't quite understand that, because if you don't have a reason, if there's not something you want to do, if there's not something you want to make better, then why are you running? And of course that question wasn't answered, but I bring it out tonight because I want everyone to know that I ran the first time I had an agenda. I'm running this time because I have an agenda. And the agenda hasn't changed. It's a better quality of life for the citizens of Lawton. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we as citizens living in a city, we pay taxes, we expect to see how our money is spent and hope that it's spent in the best way. And your representatives are the city council. So whoever's on that council and represents you, you need to have a close contact with them. I've made myself completely 100% available to every citizen in Ward 4 since I took office 3+ years ago. But what do we do? What is that agenda? Just, it sounds real pretty, the better quality of life for the citizens of Lawton. We need services, we need infrastructure, we need homes, and we need some affordable homes. We need museums, we need libraries, aquatic centers, sports centers, schools. And how lucky can we be? We've got Cameron University. That is a great star to have. A lot of cities don't have that. So we're really, really lucky to have that. We need a place that offers jobs, a place for your kids. That was mentioned earlier about our kids leaving and coming back. We need good jobs for these kids. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But they need to come back to something that's in Lawton. We lose so many kids after they graduate from high school and don't come back. So we need a long-term vision that is connected basically to the economic development that we talked about a little bit earlier. All those things, dealing with the economic development of this city, reflect all these things. I'm going to go over a little bit later the infrastructure and all the other projects that the City of Lawton is doing, trying to change and make the city a great city. We're there, but we got a lot more to do. But these are the things, when I mean a better quality of life, to have museums, to have an aquatic center or a sports center to go to, things for your kids to do, good schools. We definitely need good schools. So these make better quality of life for the citizen. And there's something that we have to do continually to make that happen. So that's what I'm talking about for the long-term vision of doing this.
Candidate one.
Thank you.
Yes, my long-term vision would be making sure that we grow with purpose. We have safe neighborhoods, strong schools, good jobs, and thriving small businesses. When small businesses are strong, then we'll thrive. When people come here, they're not going to these big businesses. They're going to our restaurants, they're going to our shops, they're going to our boutiques, and they want recreation. So we need to make sure that our small businesses are thriving and that they are sustainable. Also, when we attract these big businesses, we want to make sure that, again, it's in line with the strengths of our city. And we also want to make sure that we keep the sense of community, because that's what Lawton is about, and that is what makes Lawton special. So the incumbent mentioned that he was available full-time for the citizens. I get calls every day from people that are frustrated because they feel ignored and they feel unheard and they feel their issues are not being addressed. And so when we talk about long-term vision, it's not just about infrastructure and making the city grow. If we forget about the people, then what are we doing? If we forget about the people, then it's just a self-serving position. So with all of the infrastructure that we need, and we want big industries to come here, we want our small businesses to thrive, you know, we want parks for our children and recreation for them to do, we have to keep in mind why we're here. We're being elected to this position. And when we get elected, we can't just ignore the people and think about, you know, just our own agenda. Yeah, the things are good. Infrastructure progress will continue. Those things will continue, but if we forget about the people, then again, we're just self-serving. Thank you.
Councilman?
I don't have any response.
Our next category is infrastructure and city services. Question is, what should be the city's top priority for improving infrastructure and essential services such as streets, water, drainage, and sewer?
Candidate one.
Say it again.
What should be the city's top priority for improving infrastructure and essential services such as streets, water, drainage, and sewer?
Well, you know, our city as a city, you know, we deserve well-maintained streets, we deserve reliable drainage and efficient services. So we just need to make sure that the infrastructure, the roads, you know, the bridges, the drainage issues, that they're prioritized by safety and based on the data. And so we need to make sure that process is transparent. There is a CIP database, and it gives, and it's very good. It gives updates on, you know, the status of projects, how much money has been spent, how much money is left, you know, what's the status of the projects, and that's great. But we also need transparency. We don't need to find out about these things after the fact, because then it's not transparency. The incumbent stated back in 2022, one of his top campaign priorities was transparency. And he said that transparency isn't transparency at all if it's after the fact. And if you voted on it, then it's a little too late. All we want as citizens is to know what is going on in the city. What is happening? And where is our money going and how is it being used? That's what we want to know. But again, prioritizing. Of course, we want our streets to be fixed, and there are some good things going on. There's some good construction and good maintenance going on. Those things will continue. And guess what? 10 years from now, whoever's sitting in this seat, they're gonna be updating you on roads and what the status is. Because infrastructure is a constant issue. It's a constant, it has to be constant maintenance. That's the only way a city can grow, is if infrastructure is constant. It's not just a one-off. So we're gonna always, well, not always, but we will, you know, we will be dealing with this 10 years from now. We'll be getting statuses of roads and bridges and what's being fixed and what needs to be prioritized. That's what makes the city grow, is infrastructure. So we just need to make sure that those projects, that we know what's going on with those projects. And also, city services. You know, when people call, they shouldn't be frustrated about city services. So just like the CIP has a dashboard, maybe city services can get a dashboard too, so that when people apply for permits, they can know the status. And we need to also make sure that they have proper training down there and that they have the technology and tools that they need to do their jobs faster, efficiently, and with a smile. Wouldn't hurt. Thank you.
Yes, I do. I wanted to correct the record on a couple of items. She mentioned that I ran on transparency, which I did, and she mentioned it was after the fact. I don't quite understand that, but there has been no after the fact. Everything is put out ahead. When the council votes on it, everything is issued. You can go to lawton.gov, find out what's going to be talked about. You can see at the council meeting what was discussed and what was passed. So there's no after the fact on transparency, and that's something I have fought for. And I think there are people in this room tonight that know about being at some of the meetings, like the LEDA meetings, the airport meetings, and some of the other meetings. That I am, in fact, the one that generally brings out transparency so that the people that are there can understand that. Secondly, she said about the list of streets and how we did that. That's actually correct. Yes, you do make a list of streets and you base it on engineering data, and that's how we pick the streets that we do build and that we do repair. So that is the way we do that. And the only other thing I had is she was talking about their own agenda. She was talking about doing the streets and doing some of the utility construction, and then what is their
Thank
you.
agenda?
You have 1 minute.
Yes, so your campaign strategy, you said it, I did, in your words, where transparency is not transparency if it's after the fact. Those were your words, not mine. And so, yes, we all can go to the city council meetings. Everybody can't make city council meetings. But, you know, that data, we want to know what's going on. You, as our ward member, should make sure that your residents are informed as to what's going on. We hear it after the fact. I know we all have a responsibility to make sure that we're getting information, but everybody doesn't know. And so as a council member, it's your responsibility to make sure that people know what's going on in the ward and in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final category is quality of life and community amenities. Question: what should the city council focus on to improve quality of life for residents, including parks, recreation?
I didn't get to answer the question on infrastructure and city services. So you jumped ahead. She answered that first, and I did
And
not
then
talk
we
about.
brought
I did
it
not
to
talk
you.
about infrastructure and city services at all.
That, yes, she talked about it, you answered, and then she rebutted.
But I just answered what she said, which was
But
1 minute.
no, she answered, you talked about it, and then it came back to her for rebuttal. So, yes, sir, you did have your time. Question, what should the city council focus on to improve quality of life for residents, including parks, recreation, youth sports, senior services, and community amenities? Okay, this time we are with candidate number
One.
one.
How come George didn't get 3 minutes? I speak about infrastructure. 3 minutes.
He got the time, he used the time he used.
No, that was a rebuttal.
No, that wasn't for you to rebuttal, that was for you to answer.
He didn't get 3
Yeah,
minutes.
Okay,
yeah,
so-
that was not for him to
So we were
rebuttal.
watching
You only gave
this.
him 1 minute.
and
Right.
This was on.
So we could rewind this, but what I think we will do is give both candidates another 3 minutes to discuss that if they want to, just to make sure, to be fair.
That'll be fine.
Okay, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine, that's fine. So let's do give him the opportunity, then give her the opportunity, then he can rebuttal.
Okay.
Cause, so what he did was he rebutted, and he
Right.
didn't answer the
And I just
question.
watched this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I only talked a minute.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that wasn't a rebuttal time, that was your actual answer time, so.
We're
yeah.
just gonna give both candidates a time again.
Go back and answer, JJ, go
question.
back and ask your
Okay.
question
And let's
again.
go.
All right.
Who's
Can-
first?
You,
Okay.
let him
Let's just-
ask the
let's
question,
just-
let him ask the question, let him ask the question again. Go ahead.
Question is, what should be the city's top priority for improving infrastructure and essential services such as streets, water, drainage, and sewer?
Let's just talk about infrastructure and city services. Let's just talk about what's new. I voted on all of the all of these projects, or I instituted these projects, one or the other. So they're new projects, I wanna talk about them because we do need them for our city infrastructure, and this is what we're doing. The City of Lawton has never before actually done this much at one time, especially in 3 years. We have a very aggressive mayor and a very aggressive council, and we've made great strides in the last 3 years. So I'm gonna run over some of the things we're doing. $180 million right now under contract on water and sewer. Wastewater plant under new construction and making many changes. New cable, fiber, internet, laser, all provided by the major suppliers are being put in. Airport terminal finished, completed 20 new roads, 105 for 25 being bid. 38th Street redone, 38th Street to 52nd on Lee being redone, King Road at the airport being redone, 2 segments on Rogers Lane, Gore Boulevard, Tatum to Flower Mound's redone, New Cash Road, Flower Mound to 45's been redone, New Door 67th to 82nd Street, 11th Street, Ferris to Rogers, Lee to Gore, new dog adopting center and dog pound, Latch Terminal, Aquatic Center, Museum, Library, McMahon Auditorium, all being remodeled, recompleted with state-of-the-art facility and all new ADA requirements. Elmer Thomas Park, the amphitheater, the bridge, the tower, the sports complex, the discovery zone for kids, parks, Kids Zone, Skyline, Prairie Park, and of course several other parks, MacArthur Park. I'm reading fast, there's a lot of things. Also, we have Vista that we've been working. 28 new companies in Vista here with their employees. And last but not least, Gore Boulevard going all the way to 82nd Street with a massive interchange. So the city's been busy spending your money for great returns, great city services, great infrastructure.
Have you completed?
And I'm done.
Okay, all right then. Candidate one, would you like to answer that question?
Hold on 1 second. You want to reset the clock timer?
I just reset it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It was 2 minutes
Yeah,
and
it
28
was short.
seconds.
Go ahead.
Shortest he's ever talked.
I won't make that habit.
So, you know, that was a long list of, the infrastructure, things that's going on, and that's great. That is awesome for the city, and I applaud progress, and that is great. So I'll just focus on city services. I think City Hall should, work for the people, again, quickly and transparently. For example, owners that have properties on the D&D list, when they apply for permits, you know, they don't have, 3 weeks to wait for a permit because the clock is ticking. Like I said before, my husband and I are investors, and we worked with some contractors, this past summer, rehabbing some of the homes right here in Lawton. And sometimes we would be waiting weeks just for a permit to get approved before we could do any work. So that process definitely needs to be streamlined. There needs to be, improved customer service, and responsiveness down at City Hall. Again, when people call or when they email, they deserve follow-up, not just, frustration. So we need to make sure that the staff have the training that they need and that they also have the technology upgrades that they need so that they can do their jobs faster, better, and, also with a smile. Efficiency is not just about working harder, it's about working smarter. So it's also important that we make sure that every dollar that we spend is being spent wisely and being tracked accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like a rebuttal?
No more rebuttals.
All right then, all right. Okay, now this is our final category, quality of life and community amenities. Question, what should the city council focus on to improve quality of life for residents, including parks, recreation, youth sports, senior services, and community amenities?
Candidate one first. Candidate one?
Yes, quality of life isn't just about infrastructure. It's about pride in where we live. And there are a lot of good things going on, that Gill mentioned. We have the amphitheater and the boardwalk, coming to Elmer Thomas Park. We have the sports complex, coming in my ward. But and these are the things that make families wanna stay here, and these are the things that make new residents want to move here. And we're back to community. It's always gonna come back to people and the community. Also, we need to make sure that the partnerships that we have with non-service organizations, nonprofit organizations and service organizations, the ones that have adopted our streets and our parks, and also make sure that those organizations want to adopt streets and parks, that they are continuing with the beautification and maintenance of those parks to reduce the cost to the city. And also build pride in the neighborhood. Because when you have pride in the neighborhood, you're more apt to take care of that neighborhood. Also, a stronger park system means healthier families and healthier people. And that's what it's all about. And also more reasons for people to choose Lawton as their home. And it always comes back to community and people. That's what we're about. Infrastructure is great. New businesses, recruiting new businesses here. All of that is good. But if we forget about the people, who are we serving? Thank you.
Candidate two?
Okay. I remember back when Goodyear was coming to Lawton, and they presented to the Lawton Economic Development Corporation at that time, it's changed a lot since, a list of concerns that they had about building their plant here, and I never will forget that. I was quite young. I was building a building out there for Goodyear that was a subcontractor to Goodyear. And I looked at that list, and it wasn't what one might expect. There was about 20 items on this sheet of paper. And I was thinking, well, they're gonna want utilities there, they're gonna want a good site with good drainage, they're gonna want plenty of area to expand as they need to, and they're going to want probably the city to help them with some sort of an incentive program like taxes or something along those lines to help them get going. But I was quite surprised because the first item I saw was what we're talking about, quality of life. Now I thought, now that's strange, so what were the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 about the first 10 items? Well, as I mentioned a little while ago, let me tell you what they wanted. They wanted things like a bus system in town to take their families around. They wanted an aquatic center, a museum, a library. They wanted an auditorium to go to the Philharmonic or whatever might be playing there. They wanted Elmer Thomas Park with amphitheater for outdoor events and different types of bands and people coming. They wanted a sports complex for their kids. They wanted a discovery zone for their kids. They wanted all these things that you might think would be further down the list, but that's not true, because they want things for their family. That's what they're interested in, their family. Sure, they want to build a big plant, and this was a great area. One of the main reasons they came here, not only were the amenities they wanted, but they wanted a good workforce. And we had a good workforce in Southwest Oklahoma where they could hire employees. But I was rather surprised to see all those things that we take for granted. And that's what these companies look for. Without bringing these companies in, we don't have those better jobs. We don't have that quality of life because we're not able to build these things I just mentioned, because we need that tax base. We need higher paying jobs. And that's the way we get them. It's a combination of a lot of things we talked tonight to make Lawton a better place. We mentioned parks, so let me talk about Ward 4. I'm running for Ward 4. It might sound like I'm running for the city, but it is part of your job though, because just because you're in Ward 4, you still have a City of Lawton to take care of. You make a lot of votes and a lot of decisions on the complete city. But let's talk real quick. Parks. Pioneer Park on Kingsbriar Drive. I take responsibility for that. MacArthur Park in MacArthur Village. I take responsibility for that. Skyline Park and Skyline Edition. I take responsibility for that. I take a little bit of responsibility for the kids zone. That's a great, great park. So these are the things that companies look for. These are the things our citizens look for. We're providing those things. We're getting a lot of those things done just in the last 3 years.
Thank you.
Thank
You have 1 minute to rebuttal.
The progress will continue. Thank you.
Well, we are moving into closing statements. Each candidate has 2 minutes. Candidate 1, you may begin.
You know, this campaign isn't about pointing fingers. It's about moving forward together. It's about stepping up to meet today's challenges with new energy, and all I have is time, more time than others. And I'm proud to be a member of this community. There are those that want change and those that want things to remain the same. I believe we can do better. You spoke volumes at the polls. Now it's time to speak even louder. I'm a vessel, not a whipping girl. I will not be held responsible for the incumbent's past failures. But I will, however, work hard for you, and I will do my best to get your issues resolved. When I win, I want you to own it, because we have work to do. This runoff is not just a vote, it's a turning point. I am Tiffany Dimery, Ward 4 City Council candidate. Thank you.
Candidate 2, you now have 2 minutes.
Your council and mayor has functioned very well over the past 3 to 5 years. We put a lot of Lawton back on the map again, with progress of completing all the infrastructure and all the different life-changing projects that I mentioned earlier. We're leading the way in acquiring new businesses. Lawton has shown the way, and we've done a lot more. We've been much more aggressive than we've done in the last 50 years, especially with our roads and maintenance. I'm proud that I was not only part of the process of getting this done, but also I implemented many of these various projects, and I'm proud of that. Lawton is boss. But we can't stop there. We've got a lot to do, a lot to go forward with. But something that bothers me as we're progressing and we're going forward, and I hear this word by several people, it's called change. So my question is, for what are we changing, and to what are we going to? So I hear change, so are we talking about that we want to stop with the road program? We don't want any more roads? Are we doing too much infrastructure? No more projects? Do we need to slow down? Are we just tired of winning? I mean, we're just tired of winning? I'm not tired of winning. So I'm just wondering, what are we changing to? I heard it said somewhere along the lines of campaigning that just get rid of everyone in office down there at the city council. Get rid of all of them, the mayor also. Well, that's irrational. just completely irrational. So that's someone saying something, surely they don't really mean, are we just changing bodies down there? Just take out a body and put another body in? Is that what some people want? No, we need people down there that are visionaries, planners, business minds, bodies
Thank you.
that can make
Thank you.
a
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
$100 million company.
Thank
run.
you.
Thank you.
I talked too long, that's it. I don't usually do that.
Thank you both. Thank you both candidates for participating in this forum and debate and for respecting the format.
And thank you to our audience for joining us. This concludes the Lawton Fort Sill Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum and Debate. Have a great evening.
I have.